In this third video from Lesson 1, we will explore the basic principles of the free enterprise system in order to understand how Gus and other entrepreneurs can flourish under a free economy. There are three elements of a free enterprise system that help us to understand how the system works and why liberty is the cornerstone of economic prosperity. The first principle is a free market economy. A free market economy is most notably a system consisting of two important components. The first is voluntary exchange between people who produce something and those who desire to consume what is produced. The key to this trading relationship is that it is freely and voluntarily entered into. The second key component of a free market economy is an unregulated price system. In a free economy, resources are allocated, that is, directed to particular needs and wants, based on prices, and prices ensure that all the resources in the economy are directed to their highest valued use. The second principle of a free enterprise system is that it is based on individual rights. In a free enterprise system, there is no separation of rights from one sphere to another. That is, free and voluntary exchange carries over to all areas of life, whether personal, economic, or in the political sphere. These rights are understood as part of the American founding that to be fully human is to have the freedom to pursue life, liberty, and property, as understood by John Locke. The final element of a free enterprise system is that the liberties discussed here apply to all people. The governing rules that exist apply to all people, and the primary purpose of government is to uphold these basic freedoms. This leads us to ask, what is the relationship between a free enterprise system and our democratic form of government? Again, we can answer this question by explaining the necessity of freedom in the political process. So the basic role of government is threefold. First, to uphold the freedoms and communicate the values inherent within a free society. Number two, to protect citizens from those who wish to violate these basic freedoms, which includes an impartial legal system and an honest police system. And finally, a limited government that protects the citizens but does not wield unchecked power to violate the individual freedoms of citizens. It is also important to consider how the free enterprise system works in conjunction with a free society in order to maintain a government that serves the people. There are 5 necessary conditions that are crucial for a properly functioning democratic government within a free society. The first is free and fair elections. All citizens must have the right to vote and the assurance that the voting process is fair and free of corruption. The second is a free organization of political parties. Parties that have the right to organize and advocate for certain ideological interests. Third, transparency and accountability of elected officials. Elected officials are citizens with the same rights and responsibilities as those who elect them. They are subject to the same laws and rules as ordinary voters. Fourth, the rights of citizens. As discussed earlier, all citizens have equal rights based on their human nature. No other criteria can negate an individual's rights, such as race, ethnicity, or gender. And finally, all citizens are subject to the rule of law, and all are protected from an arbitrary abuse of power without due process. Thus, in a free market economy, there is a strong relationship to freedom in all spheres and among all citizens, whether those interactions are economic or political. Governments are in place to protect and uphold these freedoms, and in so doing, society will function at the highest level possible. As American founder James Madison famously said, quote, "If men were angels, no government would be necessary," end quote. And this principle applies to all men, both ordinary citizens and the leaders elected by them. Rules and laws, what we call institutions in economics, are put in place that ensure freedom for all men, and these rules protect citizens from each other, but they also protect citizens from leaders that might be inclined to abuse their power.